Now let's talk about the distributive property for the rational numbers. What it means is that if you are given couple of rational numbers, the first one being p and it is outside the parenthesis, and then there are two or more numbers inside the parenthesis. According to the distributive principle, the number which is outside the parenthesis will be multiplied with each number that is inside the parenthesis, and the result could be stated something like this, that p times q plus r is equal to p times q plus p times r. Okay. And also, instead of the positive sign, the addition sign which is inside the parenthesis between two numbers, if it is negative or if it is subtraction, then the same sign will come here, that is between these two numbers, right? This is called the distributive law, meaning whatever is outside the parenthesis will be distributed across each number that is inside the parenthesis, right? That's exactly the same principle we have learned while we were talking about the integers or the whole numbers. Now, this is the distributive law for multiplication. Now, let's try to see that will this law hold true for the division sign as well. So, if there is a number p divided by q plus r, these numbers are inside the parenthesis, will it be the same thing as stating p divided by q plus r is equal to p divided by q plus p divided by r? And we are stating that no, that's not the case. These two expressions are not equal to each other. Okay. So distributive law, it only works when there is a multiplication operation outside the parenthesis. It does not work when you have a division sign outside the parenthesis, right? So let's apply some numbers to understand the difference between these two statements, okay? So let's say my first rational is 1/2 and you are multiplying that with something inside the parenthesis. Let's take some easy numbers. So let's say this is 3/2 plus 5/2, okay? According to the distributive principle, this should be same thing as 1/2 times 3/2 plus 1/2 times 5/2, correct? And let's evaluate. So in this case, on the left hand side, when we open up these parentheses, when we evaluate this, it comes out to be 3 divided by 2 plus 5/2 is 8/2 times 1/2, and that will be what? 8/4, or in other words, it's equal to 2. Okay. Now let's evaluate the right hand side. It comes out to be this first part, it becomes 3/4 and plus sign in between, and the second part becomes 5/4, right? So together when you add, because now they both have the same base, it becomes 8/4 or it is equal to 2, meaning the left hand side is equal to the right hand side all the times. So it works, right? Now let's apply the same numbers to understand whether does it work for division or not, right? So p is 1/2 divided by q, which is 3/2 plus r, which is 5/2, right? So let's evaluate this whole thing first. So 3/2 plus 5/2, 8/2, as we have evaluated previously. There is a division sign and you have 1/2. Now this becomes equal to 1/2 times 2/8, or in other words, it is equal to 1/8. Okay. Now let's apply the same thing on the right hand side. So you have 1/2 divided by 3/2 plus 1/2 divided by 5/2, right? So this whole thing, when you evaluate, it will be, let me go by steps instead of skipping anything. And that will be what? That will be 1/3. There is a plus sign in between. It will be 1/2 times 2/5, and that will be 1/5. So there is a plus sign in between. When you add these two things together, what do you get? You get that there is a 15 in the denominator. So this will be 5 plus 3, and that is 8/15. So you clearly notice that the left hand side in this case is not the same thing as the right hand side. Hence, just with this one example, it is very clear that the distributive principle, it does not work under division. It only works for the multiplication. Well, that's about the distributive law, as simple as it is. You are simply looking at this case, that whatever is outside the parenthesis, if it is in multiplication with one or more terms that are inside the parenthesis, then it will be multiplied with each term that is inside the parenthesis. And the key point is this subtraction or the addition sign, whatever we have here, this has to remain as it is. We cannot alter the sequence, okay, when we open up the parenthesis. Well, that's about it. That completes our discussion on the properties of rational numbers.